So you've worked with a ton of celebrities. Who has been the most fun to work with so far?
Define fun, but probably like Salman Khan because he's just mental and he sometimes does the opposite, like whatever he wants to do on stage. So we're always on like that. And Abhishek Bachchan, he's the most wittiest, funniest guy.
Hello and welcome to Nothing But the Tea. This is Manya Manchanda, your host for this episode. And my advice to you would be fasten your seatbelts as this is going to be one hell of a ride. With a cup of chai, a dash of gossip, and some inspiring words, let us get into this exciting interview. Today we have with us Miss Aneesha Dalal, a performer, dancer, artist, and an exceptional human being. She is an important part of the Shiamak Davar Dance crew and has worked in numerous films with the stars of Bollywood. She has also mastered ballet, a dance form which is still under the covers, making her one of the few trained ballet dancers in our country. She is known for her enthusiasm, commitment, and her amazing dance variations. We are very grateful to have her here with us today, and we look forward to learning new things, a few dance tips too, and a fun chat. So let's get grooving.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, my first question to you is, with the current scenario, with the pandemic and everything, and all the work being shifted online, how are you coping up with it, and how has this online pattern changed your work style?
Okay, so firstly, we are very lucky. I am very lucky that I had a sort of physical job that could be done indoors. I mean, it's dance, and you just need a little personal space to be able to do it. It's not like a sport where you need a team and a field and everything. So we were pretty grateful. But yes, as the whole world shifted, we did shift to having big studios and having loads of people around you to dance and to be able to teach physically and be there and correct students to, I mean, on a little screen, watching everyone. The only thing I noticed which was a positive, I would say, is that you don't end up comparing yourself to anyone, because when you're in a group of dancers, you tend to, obviously look at somebody in front of you on the side and, oh, they've got it. I'm not doing it that good. So here it's really nice because it's almost like one on one with your teacher. It's just you and that screen and your teacher. So in that, I think that's the one positive that we all had. And other than that, I mean, the whole world got on, right? Just doing what they do as well as we could. And we all shifted online. And luckily for me, at least being with Shamak, we have a dance school. So we weren't only relying on, performing and, shows, which were completely off, for that time. So we all focused on teaching at that point. All the performers, I think, just went into the next best thing, which is like let's teach everybody. And honestly, even in the pandemic, to even do that, because everyone really was kind of frustrated, stuck indoors, and that little time which we could I mean, just give some happiness and do that for that person. With a lot of people would come and tell us, thank god we have this 1 hour of dance to take our minds off everything. So I mean, that's how we coped.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, everybody was able to let go of their inhibitions much faster with the pandemic. That's a positive. And of course, it's great that they had something to look forward to after a stressful day. Okay, so my next question is: each one of us has so many memories attached with our childhood, and there are a lot of things that we miss dearly. So, how were your childhood days, and was there anything that made them so memorable for you?
Yeah, without sounding too old, I grew up without mobile phones and tablets and stuff. So, like one auntie or grandmother, I'll be saying, in those days we used to play it, but it was such a big deal. So, for career wise, I mean, I didn't. I mean, I did love dance. I guess my mom always wanted to dance ballet, but she never got a chance to. So obviously, she put her daughter in. So I did ballet as a child, like that little dancing. I mean, not too much, twice a week, whatever. But otherwise, basically, fabulous. I enjoyed my childhood as a dancer also, and everything. I mean, I was very active. We were always in the building down, playing police and all that. So that, I think, is we're kind of missing today. I don't know, but it was a different time, then to grow up.
Definitely, that was a much better time to grow up, in fact, without all the gadgets.
I think each one has its positives also, but I mean, as long as there's control and there's balance, I think that's fine as well.
Definitely. So, moving on from your childhood, when you entered college, so how would you say that college helped you to push you towards your goals in life?
I just finished college to get a degree because when I joined, I had already just started kind of becoming a professional dancer. So by
Okay.
the like in like my first year, and then by the fifth year, I was like already a professional doing shows and I was already teaching. So then by the end of it, it was just like I just need to have a degree to get by in life, but I am going to be a dancer, you know. So my dad, I did ask him, I'm like, why am I finishing this college? You know, I already have a job, like a good, like, you know, I have my life set out. And he's like, no, you're finishing it. And eventually, I mean, it does come. I mean, if you lead like some of us, I mean, we've taught in other countries, so you get a work visa and all, and oh, you need your degree to even get that, even if you're going to teach dance and stuff like that. So that helped me. I was in St Xavier's, and we always had Malhar and all the festivals, and I was too, believe it or not, I just didn't want to participate in any of the dance competitions then, because I don't know, I used to be like, I'm already a professional, it's not fair or something, or maybe I was just shy, but I never did any of the performances over there. But other than that, I had a good college life as well. So it I don't know, just that, the people around you. Okay, I had a great teacher. I studied ancient Indian culture, and she was a Bharatnatyam dancer, and I was a, I mean, whatever, jazz ballet dancer. You know, so we kind of connected in that sense. I really enjoyed having her as my teacher. So that's my college life.
That's a great experience. I mean, it sounds fun. So, as they say, we never forget our firsts. So, when was the first time you performed on stage, and are there any interesting stories attached to it?
I have a photograph of it. I do vaguely remember it. I think I was 6 or 7. So it was one of our, the students put together, the teachers, my ballet teacher put together a show for all the parents, but it was in an auditorium on stage. And I just was a very shy child, except when it came to going on stage. So I remember like just being completely fine, you know, dancing on stage as long as I didn't have to speak. And I remember as very young being like, yeah, I'm fine going. There's nothing, you know. And I was like always doing the right thing and correct timing and everything. So I do remember that we did not have ballet shoes then. You couldn't get them anywhere. So we did it in pink socks and the little pink tutus. So I mean, we just dance in socks. We just like, you can't get ballet shoes there. I mean, there was no Amazon. There was nothing, right? So we just had little pink socks on, and then we did the performance. And that's the first one. That's what I remember.
So, my next question to you is tell us more about your journey in dance from starting off to where you are today. Like, how has that journey been like?
Okay, so I have been with one dance company, that's the Shiamak Davar Dance Company, since I started my professional dancing. So as a child, like I said, I danced ballet for about 6 years or something, and then immediately after that, I joined a regular beginners jazz class with Shiamak as a student, and it's the first time he started classes in Bandra, and it was a big deal because all the models and the Miss Indias, and there were like these like celebrity kind of students, and there was a little me and my friend, you know, we were like, I don't know, 14 or 15 or something then, and we were like these little ignored ones on the side, but not ignored, but you know, these all these big personalities were in class. And just through that, Shamak Dawa himself would come to class that time, and then he spotted me, and he's like, why don't you do a show with me? And then we did a, I mean, it just went from there. Once I started that life, then that was it. And what I like the most also is Shamak always believes in giving back. So we always performed, but we always were encouraged to teach and give back, you know, whether it's kids and senior citizens, special students, everything. So that's how all of us actually with Shamak start. You also perform and you have that glamorous life as well, but you're also become an instructor at the same time. And it's literally, I just did not look back from there. So you start as a, like, what do you say, intern, you know, like assisting the instructor, then you learn, and then you just keep going, keep going, keep going. And whatever, if whatever Shamak was doing, you automatically become a part of it. So it started off with only jazz and, you know, contemporary and things, and then he did.
And we are grateful that you're in this profession so that we get to watch you. And we hope you keep dancing.
I hope.
So,
Thanks.
so while starting off dance, what are the few most important things according to you that probably a newbie should keep in mind?
Okay, I'll speak as if you're taking it up as a career or more on a
Yes.
serious training level. So I would say that um, you have to give it time, and you have to, what do you say, work on your art, because in this day and age there's so much visual, you're exposed to YouTube and everything, and you just see wow 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 wow, and you're like, you are constantly comparing yourself, and then you want to get those results like instant coffee, like really really fast. This is actually what Shamak always says. So you have to train. Okay, the art takes a long time to form and to develop, so I think Martha Graham said this, it takes 10 years to become a dancer. That's once you start professionally. And I understand that, because in the beginning you really don't know what you're doing, and there's a time when you kind of you start to understand a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. But I feel people like give up in like 2 years, like that's nothing, you've not even started to understand anything in your body and stuff. So it's a tough life. Okay, it's a physical job. Okay, your body is your temple. It breaks, you're stuck, you have nothing to do. It's very frustrating, and you have so much competition. Somebody will be like popular one day, and the next day there's somebody else, there's somebody else, there's somebody else. So we always say there's always somebody better than you, and there's always someone worse off than you. So you have to always know that. So one keeps you grounded, and one does, gives you confidence. So I mean, that's the only thing I can really really say is train. Then nobody can say anything to you, because you've trained, you've got it, you've mastered the technique, you're there. You're never there, but you're there. You're right. So it's like, I know lots of people in India also. There's so many small towns and cities, they don't have dance classes to go to, and they are so brilliant just by watching, videos. They pick up stuff so beautifully, and it's just sad that there's no like training really in those places. But if they ever have an opportunity to train and to come and dance, and actually do a dance class and understand exactly what goes into really becoming a dancer, then do that, if anyone is really, really interested.
Definitely. I think that's the best advice anyone could ever receive, especially the thing that you said about someone is always better than you and someone is always worse off
That
than you.
can be for life as well. That doesn't have to just
Exactly.
be as a dance. So,
Exactly. So that
yeah.
forms like a balance in your life. Okay, so in India, when we mention the phrase classical dance, ballet is not something that naturally comes to people's minds. That's not the first thing. But do you think that with the changing times, people are warming up to the idea of ballet as a classical dance form? And how much scope do you think ballet would have in a country like India?
Absolutely. Look, we our classical forms have been around for like centuries, right? They've just been there and there and there, and they are very very important to our culture. But obviously, there are some people. I mean, everybody doesn't want to do a classical Indian form. And when you watch now, the West has been such an influence on us. So when you watch those videos and the things that those bodies are doing, then you automatically say, I want to do that. And then you go back and you see, oh, I have to do ballet, I have to get some ballet training to get this technique. So, but then when you go to the ballet class, the process is so slow. From the doing the same thing for years and years and years. Plus, there's a big advantage if you start at age 5, 6, 7, as opposed to starting in your teens. And then automatically people are just like, I have to do the ballet, but they don't want to do the ballet because it's so hard. It's one of the hardest dance forms, I think. And it's also very unnatural. You've got to be really careful with your body, you've got to have the right teacher. And as of now, it's not that popular as I think it should be. But yes, people do want to train, but I think more people just go abroad, and then people who can afford it go abroad for training and then come back, rather than people actually starting off here. It's very slowly. My ballet teacher was first Veronica Balsara, and then Tushna Dallas, who also has her school here for 50 years, at least in Bombay. And that's been around forever. Shamak also trained under her. But I mean, that's one of the best ballet schools you can have. But I think that's it. And there are a couple more teachers like Pia and stuff who all came out of Tushna's school as well. But there are only that many few really qualified, you have to pass your exams and things like that. So I don't know how to answer this question. I think it should be more popular than it is, but unfortunately there just aren't enough teachers, even if the demand is there, good teachers.
Definitely. So the scope would increase once teachers increase.
I think so, yes.
Definitely. So, do you think that the people from the younger generation who want to venture into dance as a career follow the same discipline as perhaps the veterans in the field?
It depends. Like I feel a lot of people probably watch all the dance reality shows and say, मुझे भी ये करना है, and that's it. It's more about the fame and the popularity of doing that rather than actually I want to be a dancer. So there are, I mean, it is two different, career choices. One is actually like a performer and a star and that, and then there's one who really wants to probably really pursue and become the artist type of a dancer. So all I can say is that we didn't have any YouTube, we didn't have anything. I had Shamak Davar, whatever he taught me, I just grew from that. And some of us who were maybe fortunate enough to go abroad and, study at a dance school or something, or Shamak could invite some teachers over. That's the training, that's all we had. So I think both, it has its, like, it was good for us as well as it, I mean, probably slowed us down. We didn't know what was happening, around or anything new. And now you have so much help, so much. There are tutorials. You can literally learn dance just by, watching somebody and having a little bit of talent. So that's also such an advantage. So I don't think you can compare the two. Even Shamak always says this. He's like, you can't compare dancers of today to 20 years ago, because it's evolved. Dance has evolved. So if they were there 20 years ago, they would dance like that. And if you were there 20 years ahead, you would dance like this. So you can't compare the past and the future. It's always going to be evolving. It's always going to be changing.
Definitely. I think that's the best approach to anything in life. I mean, you have to evolve with the times and not compare things. That's great. So, who has been the greatest inspiration in your life?
I do well. I've only had Shamak Dava as my guru. Okay, so that is for like a different level of spirituality. To like they say, good gurus make good teachers. Like you know what I'm saying. So he's
Yeah.
taught me how to be a teacher and how to speak and what to speak. All I'm saying today, I've heard from him. And other than that, there's like the oldies when it's the musical theater genre like Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and it's Charisse. I'd watched Singing in the Rain when I was, I don't know, 13 or something, I don't know when. And that girl in the green dress, she's in this green dress. And I didn't know who she was. I just knew this girl in the green dress. Later on, I knew it, I mean, it was Sid Charisse and all. But just watching things like that. And I've also always just admired dancers. Every time. I love watching people dance, even if they're amateurs and but they are like putting their whole heart and soul into it and all that, you can see that spark coming out or something. I just love watching dancers. But other than that, I mean, all the gray, I mean, of course there's your Master Graham, and I just love Alvin Ailey and these, I mean, the dancers there, I don't like, they just like, you look at them and there's some other level from some other life, they're so beautiful and it's real art, so I think those are the ones who really have made an impact. I'm talking about when I was a little younger, so you're like,
Yeah.
wow, with everything. That.
The first question is, which was the first film that you got to work in?
Dil To Pagal Hai, Bollywood film with Shamak.
Great. What is your go-to song while warming up?
This is not a rapid fire answer. Every new song that I like, that's the first on my playlist. You should ask my students. I don't remember what's the one I played last. Right
Okay.
now, uh, right now it's a Billie Eilish album. I play that one. Yeah,
It's an amazing album.
yeah.
Three most important values a dancer should keep in mind.
Work hard, be humble, and the show must go on.
Definitely. So, if you had to pick a dance form and follow only that for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
Ballet, I've always loved it. Not had enough training in it, but yeah, that.
Perfect. So, you've worked with a ton of celebrities. Who has been the most fun to work with so far?
Define fun, but probably like Salman Khan because he's just mental and he sometimes does the opposite, like whatever he wants to do on stage. So you're always on like that. And Abhishek Bachchan, he's the most wittiest, funniest guy, and I think he's so underrated, but he's just amazing fun.
Definitely. I love Abhishek Bachchan as well.
Mm.
So, okay, before we sign off, I have one last question for you. If you were to be anything but a dancer, what alternate profession would you pick and why?
I would like to be a musician or a painter, not a singer, but something in the arts, and something I really would like something really related to music, if not dance at least, because that is those are my two. I mean, music and dance go hand in hand, anyways. So I never studied any musical instrument, but if you're asking, then I would love to be. I can't sing, so that's out of the question. So a musician, somebody in the band or something,
That's
or in an
amazing.
orchestra, one of them.
But I mean, we are very grateful and lucky that you didn't choose that and you chose this so that we and the entire world, for that matter, could experience the immense talent that you possess.
Thank you.
And it has been such a pleasure getting to know you, Miss Aneesha. And
Thank you, Manya. You were lovely to talk to, and
thank
you
you
were just
so much.
talking the whole time and made me feel like I can just answer anything you asked. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And with your words and your thoughts, I'm sure we all have learned something significant about life today. And I mean, one thing we have learned that dance changes our lives in more ways than one. And thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking to us today.
Thank
And
thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
thank you. And we hope to have you back soon for another interview.
Sure, whenever.
And we wish you the best in your fulfilling career, good health, and loads of happiness.
Thank you. Thank you.
And till then, we'll take your leave.